People said, इसको क्या आता है कंटेंट के बारे में? ये सेल्स का बंदा है, इसको लाके सीईओ बनाए, इसको क्या आता है? I took the job with only one thought in mind. मैं हार्वर्ड जा रहा हूँ to do a course. Somewhere within myself, I said, I want to succeed. I want to do it. I want to do it. By God's grace, I succeeded. So I did my master's and I did my PhD.
What you can see, don't think that, speak that. What you want to see, you think that, speak that, that it has already happened. And it will start happening.
It all actually comes down to the thoughts and the state of your mind in relationship to, everything. One is, of course, in terms of titles, but you also have this big thing about being able to stay positive.
Somebody asked me, how are you? And I said, top of the world. So the word cheerful became synonymous with me. Like if Hrithik Roshan meets me, he says, Mr. Cheerful. So I think subconsciously, I started living it.
If you're already contented, the way you will do things will be completely different, and you will not have a dependency on your doing to feel good, because your feel good is already taken care of because you're contented.
In day-to-day corporate life, everybody is struggling for the next title, the next promotion, without really going behind the sentiment or what is going to require to make that happen.
I said, this person I don't think is ready for a promotion. And you'd say, give him the promotion. Now he's motivated to work harder, because if he'll either sink or he'll swim. If you can overcome two things in life, you're God. One is fear and one is greed.
Media punter or media guru? Some people build companies, some people build cultures, and then there are those who build both. And these leaders actually leave a very different kind of an imprint on how a whole generation thinks, watches, and dreams. Our guest today, Raj Nayak, is one such inspirational leader who has shaped so many lives and so many ways in which the country operates. Thank you, Raj, and wonderful to have you here on this show.
Thank you for inviting me here.
No.
I've seen both of you, more of Sister Shivani, and I've always admired, listened to what she has to say. And today I'm sitting next to her and sitting next to you. So I'm privileged.
Wonderful to have you. And of course, our inspiration and, like what you rightly said, our spiritual mentor, Sister B.K. Shivani. So again, a very warm welcome to both of you. You have done so many things, Raj. You've led revenue for Star, then CEO for Colors, and then many, many things over these years. And today you've got your own startup, and, you've been somebody who has had many powerful positions in media, so maybe we can begin with, understanding those titles and what that has meant for you. And really, how does it feel to be part of a media journey where, you can touch so many people in so many different ways?
I wouldn't say that's only for media. You can touch people's lives in any profession you are. Okay. And titles is only in your head. It means nothing. It's just it's given to you. I can say that you take somebody tomorrow, give him a CEO's chair, put him on the chair. Okay, two things will happen. Either he will live up to the position of the chair, because he'll feel insecure, he doesn't want to lose it, so he'll work that much harder to make it happen. Or he will drown. And that's the philosophy my boss at that time used when I was to do sales at Star TV. He used to say, I said, this person I don't think is ready for a promotion. And he would say, give him the promotion. Now he's motivated to work harder, because if he'll either sink or he'll swim. So that's the thing. I think titles in your head. Title means nothing. You can have the biggest designation and you can be a horrible leader, or you can be a great leader and have no designation.
Correct.
So it's all these are man-made things, Probably because you need certain hierarchies in organizations and things like that. That's fine. But otherwise, it has never meant to be.
Yeah, no, I think you bring out such a important point, because when we say in day-to-day corporate life, everybody is struggling for the next title, the next promotion, without really going behind the sentiment or what is going to require to make that happen, thinking that once they have that, they've achieved things.
I say corporate life. I don't know whether I come from a small town.
Yeah.
I lived in a village
Yeah.
where we used to go by bicycle or by Luna or by scooter. And dogs are in the news now.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you used to go, the dogs keep coming, running, bark at you, right? You slow down your scooter and they don't know what to do. Corporate life is like that. You want manager. See, तुम जब मिलता है बंदे को पता नहीं कि मेरे को करना क्या है. It's a never ending chase without knowing what you're chasing. So the way I've looked at it is when you're doing a particular job, do it to the best of your ability. Nothing in my life, I can say this with conviction, has happened by design. It has all happened by default. ना मैंने कभी सोचा मैं मीडिया में आऊंगा, ना मैंने सोचा कि मैं कोई चैनल का हेड बनूंगा. अपने आप होते गया. I just ended up doing what at any given point of time, whatever task was given to me, I gave it my 100%. Sometimes I failed, sometimes I succeeded, but at least I slept with the feeling that I've given it my best. Because beyond that, nothing is in your control.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important that as you started with the chase, right? As you keep chasing. Sometimes you spend so much of your effort and time managing the situation rather than trying to do what you're meant to do. What you're meant to do. And I think this is a important message for young people who are joining the workforce today, how they should really evaluate their success and achievement in life. And I think we'll turn to Sister Shivani to throw some light on it, because it is also causing a lot of mental stress and the things that most people, because you constantly seem to be chasing something, right? How does one slow down the pace?
Most important to remember is that designation is not my identity. So that is called ego consciousness. Ego consciousness means everything that I have acquired on this journey, I make it my identity. I don't say CEO is my designation, or I don't say it's my role and responsibility. I say I am a CEO. So I am means it's my identity. So we actually need to just change our vocabulary, and the whole feeling towards it will change. So we say, I am a position, I am a role, I am a relationship, I am a religion, I am a nationality, and I am this body. And I forget I am that energy, the being which is playing this role. So like you said that you were not working for the role or moving towards the role, it automatically started happening. But putting your 100% means you're working on the being, the energy, the person you are, your every thought, your every intention. Your every intent, your every thought, feeling, word, behavior, you're giving your 100%, not just in the doing. If it was only in the doing, this would have not happened. You flow and things are automatically happening with you. The intent was when he said, I can sleep at night knowing that I have done my best, which means my best karma. I've done my best karma. So the soul is satisfied. So working on that soul progress, even without knowing the word soul, but you're working on that soul progress, roles and responsibilities will keep changing. But because your intent of that progress is very clear, even if you get a higher role and position, that is not your, that doesn't become your identity, or that does not become your thing which you feared losing. You don't get attached to that identity because you're ready to flow, because you're just working because you want to work. You want to do your best in that. And the better you are as a person, the better means the more you're polishing yourself also on the journey, ego will start reducing. Fear of losing the role will start reducing, because I'm not losing my identity if I lose a role. I am still that beautiful, powerful, peaceful soul, and I'm ready to flow into whatever next role. And I'm very comfortable the day I don't have a role.
Beautifully said.
Because one day I will not have a designation. I will not have that position. But because our society, we've said, jaise wo role dikhta hai, we become like this. So people feel the day I don't have this role, the world will not respect me. And so they will hold on to that role. So this is what is ego, attachment to a wrong image of myself. So I make that designation, my identity, and I get attached. This is who I am. Now, second is I want other people to behave with me through that role consciousness. That's why some people, when they go home, their family tells them, वो जो आप है ना, वो आप ऑफिस में है. मतलब don't come bring your ego consciousness into the house, because वो जो है वो
Because where that role ends and when it
Yes.
moves on.
No, my wife is very clear. She tells me, "Do I come to your office and tell you what to do?
Yeah,
This
don't
is
come.
my domain. So let me do what I want to
So
do."
that is attachment to that role.
No, but for someone like you, it's probably less impactful because you probably got it early, right? You don't. So you were talking of your early days, and also, did this happen over a period of time? Was there something that triggered it?
No, I think, my mother was a big influence on me. And, when I was young, they used to do bhajans and all that. But, she used to put her headphones. She's old, right? She died at the age of 87. So she used to sing there used to be one Raghavendra Swami in Karnataka, and Dr. Rajkumar used to sing his bhajan. So she used to listen to them. And in that, there was one phrase in Kannada which said, Koduvanavnu, my Kannada is not so bad, Innu ase etake, means the Almighty has given you what you want. Why are you still greedy? So the thing she always imbibed in us was to be content. She said, whatever you have in life, be grateful, be content. You will never be unhappy. And I think, and your desires in life, needs and wants changes as you progress in life, right? Like for my driver, I'm a rich man. In his mind, I'm a rich man. For me, Mr. Mukesh Ambani may be a very rich man. It's all perspective. It's reality, right? But as you progress in life, your needs change, your want change. You want to send your children to a better education and things like that. So I just kept that in mind throughout. And I said, whenever I had something, I was grateful for it. I've never complained. And by God's grace, things just happen by itself. And even today, you said something very interesting. You said being attached to the title. I was very clear in my mind, that the chair doesn't belong to me. And I was also very conscious of the fact, and I think it happened because I have held different positions at different phases of my life. When I quit Star TV, I was the executive vice president in 2000. Okay. I went through a phase where 9 months I was without a job, fighting a court case. And I've seen how the world around me changed, right? When I got back into NDTV, again, the world around me changed. By which time I had experienced the knowing that this is reality, accept it. Because the only thing you can do in life is accept, right? Accept it. And, but what it taught me was it also gave me who were consistent in their relationships, who weren't. Not that I reacted to that situation. I was the same with everybody even after that. But subconsciously in my head, I know these were the 5 people who were consistent with me. These were not. Because they come back to your life, suddenly. So when I again came to colors, the world came. So I kept telling myself, I said, Raj, this is not you. This is your chair. So the moment you get out of this chair, mentally have an expectation that it'll again go away, right? And I should give you a very good example. I've done this many times before when I've spoken, but I should say, years ago, there used to be a CEO of Hindustan Liver called Nitin Paranjpe. And we were traveling to Goa on a flight. He was going for Goa Fest, which is a thing, and I was also on the flight. I was wearing shorts. And I had never met him, but he was a big client of ours. So I was sitting on the other end of the business class. So once the plane took off, I got up and I went to him and I said, my name is Raj Nayak. I work with NDTV. You're one of our big clients. Well, I wanted to get to know him. He said, sit, chat with me. We became good friends after that. And what I noticed was he was going in a Unilever uniform to Goa. I said, why are you going in this uniform? Nobody goes to Goa in this thing. He said, sometimes even to my office, I may go without uniform. But when I'm called to speak, I always wear this uniform. He said, you know why? Because it reminds me they are not calling Nitin Paranjpe. They are calling the CEO of HUL. That stayed with me. So after that, it was easy. Once you accepted that mentally, it's easy.
But I think it's so important, like what you just brought out, that the identity is, and it's a state of mind, right? Because how your mind, and therefore, what we call think right, it all actually comes down to the thoughts and the state of your mind in relationship to, everything. One is, of course, in terms of titles, but you also have this big thing about being able to stay positive through all situations, as you said, and you have this phrase that you use, on top of the world, right? So tell us a little bit about how that started. What has that really done to you and to the people around you?
I just don't know how it happened. It's, once somebody years ago, I'm talking about 25, 30 years ago, okay? Somebody asked me, how are you? And I said, top of the world, okay? And they said, yeah, kabhi bhi aapko milte hai, to you say top of the world. And then it happened by default. And then when I was working, first I was heading sales at this, and one of your colleagues, Krishna, used to work with me in colors. So he will tell you, I used to walk around the office and I used to say, if I meet anybody, I'd say, how are you feeling today? And if they said top of the world, they got a high five from me. If they said, I'm fine, I'm very good, I used to say, okay, good. So it became a sort of a thing. So whenever I used to walk, people would wait for me to ask so that they can do a high five. What it did is it built energy by default within the organization. So, and it stayed with me. Then it became, some certain things becomes your trademark by default, not by design.
And actually, that's also the power of affirmation, right? Yes. Because when everybody in an organization says, I'm on top of the world, the organization goes on top of the world. There's tremendous power in.
And you're also repeating the word, na?
Yes.
Every time. So we are in this room. If we keep repeating a high energy word, what are prayers? What are mantras? They are high energy words. So every time we're creating a high energy word, it's radiating through me, then through my body, through the environment, radiating to the other person. So even if one person is average and the other person is on top of the world, that energy is also going to reach them. If I'm not feeling on top of the world, but I'm still saying I'm on top of the world, that also will raise my energy. So it's very powerful. Use powerful words even if you're not feeling powerful. And that will start changing the way you feel.
Because that changes not only the state of your being,
yes, but also other people. Yes.
And today in the West, and everybody talks of power of manifestation and all of that. Yeah. I think the source comes from that, this positivity that one can, or state of positivity or energy that one can be in all the time. But how did this happen? Is it natural? When you look back on your life, you see some defining moment? You talked about professionally? Anything?
No, I think defining moment is this top of the world happened by default.
Yeah, no, but
there's another incident which happened when I quit my job in 2001, that time. My company took me to court for non-compete. I fought a case in the Mumbai High Court for 9 months. During that time, suddenly you are moved from a very top position to being at home with no job. And I had an executive assistant and I had a secretary those days. So I never did anything. I never used a laptop. I didn't know how to use one. So suddenly when I was at home, I had to communicate with the outside world. I didn't even know how to open an email ID. So my daughter was in the 8th standard that time, Samira, and I told Samira, do me a favor. Can you help me with an email ID? So she, how these kids are. She said, what? It used to be Hotmail those days. She said, what do you want? I said, Raj Nayak at hotmail.com. She said, Dad, that's such a boring name. Let me give it to you. Raj Grouchy at hotmail.com. I said, what? No. She said, that's who you are. But for the outside world, I'll give you another one. Okay. And she wrote Raj Cheerful at hotmail.com. which later became Raj Cheerful at gmail.com. My Twitter handle became Raj Cheerful. My Instagram is Raj Cheerful. And by default, when I met people, like if Hrithik Roshan meets me, he says, Mr. Cheerful.
Yeah.
So the word cheerful became synonymous with me. So I think subconsciously, I started living it. I started living it. So now everybody knows me as Raj Cheerful.
No, it shows that this works.
In Bharat, why names are kept very carefully. And every name has a meaning. Because the name is the most used word in our entire lifetime. So the name is always supposed to be a high energy word, because every time somebody will say your name, they're creating an affirmation. It's becoming a blessing for you. So his name became Raj Cheerful. No? So automatically cheer to badna hi tha, because everybody was using that.
And cheerful with a double L.
Yeah.
Full.
And it's daughters, right? I mean, think of it, who will come in and make that. And I'm sure in her mind must be going, my dad is this COO or this leadership, and he doesn't even know how to use an email. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and I can fully relate to, how they would perceive when you do not even do some of the simple things. But that innocence with which, that you are, when we are younger, somewhere in life we lose it. I mean, a lot of our audiences.
I'm still like that. I'm still curious.
Correct.
Even now, I tell people in my office, I've got this Gen Z working, and I tell her, can you do me a favor? Teach me how to do this reel. So I still do it.
But when he was going through that situation, it was so good to get that title at that time.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's most important.
Exactly.
Because, see, you're going through probably a low phase.
Right.
And you also have a court case. So the energy you're surrounded with, people may be reading about you in media. Everybody will be talking about you. So you're also getting the other energy because of the situation in your life.
Yeah.
And suddenly your name changes and you get a high energy word. So every time a person receives your email, they will read that. It's a repetition. So the repetition of the word changes the vibration.
Yeah. So repeating the same word, using similar words, but keeping your vocabulary at a high energy, positive, is one thing. But somewhere in our education, we never taught this.
No, we are not taught a lot of things in our education.
No, but again, if
how do we change? How do we help the young generation realize the importance of this?
Because we are only being taught how to speak perfect Hindi, perfect English, which is their role. That's the syllabus that they have to pick up. We haven't been taught that what is the power of right thinking or right speaking, but that has been there in the culture of Bharat. And that's why we had this Sankalp se Siddhi. So if we go few 100 years back, they knew Sankalp se Siddhi. They didn't call it law of manifestation or power of attraction, that though later. But when they knew Sankalp se Siddhi, they would create the thought in that manner which they want should happen in reality. That is a rule. But today we went opposite, and what we see, we start thinking that. So like you were just saying, this is pain. So everybody around you will say, अच्छा आपको दर्द हो रहा है, आपको दर्द हो रहा है, आपको दर्द हो रहा है.
तो नहीं होने वाला तो भी होगा.
वो बढ़ जाएगा, because that becomes the energy I'm getting, and everybody's repeating that. So another one thing is, we don't need to tell our problems to the world, because then the whole world discusses our problems.
Yes.
And when the more the whole world discusses, they add their own perception, interpretation, their vocabulary. It's a vibrational energy that is getting created. So Sankalp se Siddhi, everybody just needs to fit it. What you can see, don't think that, speak that. What you want to see, you think that, speak that it has already happened. And it will start happening, because that is a law. It's like law of gravity. It is going to fall in this direction. So you throw it accordingly, because it is going to fall in that direction. So then people will say, "Phir hum jhoot bole, but it has not happened. So why should I say it has happened?" Because it's a law. It's going to work in that direction. So now you choose, what do you want? So it's a law. So law means it will happen like that always with everybody, every time. You can use the law, or you can live in ignorance of the law. Your destiny will work in the direction of how you have.
And the only way is to experience that law in action. Once a person experiences it, then you know that it is happening
always
to you.
Works.
All the time, and it sees you through so many situations. I mean, like what you started out, that your life just falls into place, right? So from stuff to colors, and there you achieve so much in colors, right? Because you're behind the big boss, all these big shows.
It's the team who achieve.
No,
but being the boss, you get the credit.
Yeah.
So I got the credit. I shared some with them.
Yeah, okay.
But some अपने लिए भी ले लिया.
Yeah. No, but all of that, when it happened, like, was there some something you came with, you thought of? Because media influence on large is a lot, right? As we can see, and we've always seen, right? So these, how did you go about doing? Was there something different that you did that helped you achieve some of this stuff?
When I came in, the channel before me, there's a gentleman called Rajesh Kamath who had launched the channel, had taken it to number 1. Okay. When I came in, it had come to number 6 or whatever, number 7 or whatever number at that time. So the first thing is, when you join any corporation, and if you're joining at a CEO level, you have a tendency to bring, I know this one, to bring your coterie. That's a tendency. Most people have it. Yeah. In fact, I'll talk about it a little later. Okay. And what ran in my mind was, these are the same people who had made the channel number 1. So obviously there is something that is right? And I came at a situation when it couldn't go any worse. So I had the ability, and I was lucky because the expectation was less. Okay, expectation was less. मैं कुछ भी करूँगा तो यहाँ से ऊपर ही जाऊँगा. 2, when you're right down, your ability to take risk is that much higher. Correct. When you become number 1, you can't take a risk. It's like even in your personal life, as you make more money and you're more successful, your ability to take risk is lesser and lesser because you have lots to lose. But when you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. So I was in a situation I had nothing. So I took risks of doing things differently. बोले ये नहीं चलेगा, किसने किया नहीं है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हम वैसे भी वहां हैं, करके देखते हैं. So if you look at Colors as a channel, I don't think any channel has ever, till date, done the kind of experiments we have done in genres, in fiction, in anything. We went on doing. And what happened was it worked for us. So one of the things is, before I came, Colors had a line, Jasbaat ke rang, or something like that. And when I came on board, Star had launched something called Soch Nahi, something like that. And Z had also come with a line. So obviously, when two people are doing it, it's herd mentality. So we had also gone and commissioned and got a line. And I looked at it and I said, remove the line. They said, no, but we don't have a tagline. I said, remove. Because if you have a tagline, then you have to live up to that tagline. अगर सोच नहीं बोल रहे हो तो सोच नहीं करना पड़ेगा आपको. नहीं तो if it doesn't resonate with the product you're delivering, मर जाओगे. I said, निकाल दो. बोले क्यों? I said, what does colors mean to you? Different people will have different things. Somebody will say rainbow, somebody will say garden of flowers, different things, right? It's like success. Everybody will have a different thing about success, right? Yeah. I said, when we don't put anything, we can do what we want because each one has their own interpretation. And we had a very good team. I always say, you're only as good as the team that you have. Okay. You're also only as good as the boss that you have. Both. If the management wouldn't have given me the freedom, I would have been a non-entity. And if I didn't have a great team, I wouldn't have succeeded. So it's and some of these things, actually, like you said, because I had one desire, maybe I did not look at it as manifestation. People said, "Isko kya aata hai content ke baare mein?" There was a lot of chatter in the industry as well as in the organization. ये sales का बंदा है, इसको लाके CEO बनाए, इसको क्या आता है? Okay, so somewhere deep within, I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to fail. I took the job with only one thought in mind. I said, because I knew I didn't know content. Okay, but I took the job with the thought in mind saying, मैं हार्वर्ड जा रहा हूँ to do a course on entertainment television. Two things will happen. I will fail. If I fail, I still went to Harvard. छापा आ गया मेरे बायोडेटा में. If I succeed, I will do my master's, my PhD. By God's grace, I succeeded. So I did my master's and I did my PhD. But that was the thing. So you were somewhere within myself, I said, I want to succeed. I want to do it. I want to do it. So it must have been manifestation. And I've worked towards it. Yeah.
What you said, right? When you put that person in the chair, many things come. But, still to take such, high risk in a high stakes kind of an environment, what is that quality? What triggers in people, right? Is there something that there is a common thread?
If you don't have the fear to lose, And if you're not attached to what you have, then you can take risks. Getting into a conflict with a company, power to stand for the right. We may be wrong, but at that time we know this is right. Tomorrow I might realize that I might not right. I don't know what had happened over there. But the power to stand like that is a detachment. Because anyone who does not detach to the role cannot stand like that for the power. So power to stand for what I believe is right. That means I have that power to detach from the role. And so I don't fear losing. And so taking risks becomes very easy.
And I think that being able to get rid of that fear and the power actually makes you trust this law that we are talking of,
if you
or
don't
the process.
Make your role as your identity and you just want to work, learn, grow, in that it's not that if I don't have this role, I stop or it's my end. It can be an end of a role, but that is not going to stop my growth. Whether it's inner work or outer work, it's not going to stop. And it really doesn't stop. And that's what's happened with it. It didn't stop after that. So it's just, we just have to learn from each other's lives and experiences. We get so scared that today people will compromise with the wrong. They will do things which they believe are not right because nahi to phir ye chala jayega jo mere paas hai. And that's because of that, your own growth will get affected. Your own karma will also get affected.
Yeah, the word fear, as we say, is such an important part of overcoming fear. Or how do you find the opposite of fear through positivity?
I have a saying, and this is my own, so you can patent it, trademark Raj Nayak, right? And I genuinely believe this. I believe if you can overcome two things in life, you are God. One is fear and one is greed. If you can overcome these two, if I have nothing to fear, and I'm happy, see, it's like, they say nobody is important. It is your needs that makes the other person important. Right? So once in your mind you say, "Theek hai yaar, jo hai." I think then, and my friend Pratik Gandhi used a dialogue in one of his films. He said, "Risk hai to ishq hai."
So, and everybody seeks validation, right? So sometimes when you're not getting validation from somewhere, that drives you for both, for greed and fear. And I think these are the two things. But do you do anything on a regular basis to remind yourself of this, or it just comes naturally? Or
I think it comes naturally, but I do a lot of reading. I mean, not a lot. So I read. And, when I find something, it stays with me. For example, yesterday,
one thing I'll tell you. Your mother's ingrained sanskar of contentment and gratitude. It's ingrained.
Yeah, it is ingrained.
When it comes
She's
from
been a
the
big
mother,
influence.
sanskar is going from the mother to the child first. It's going through the garab, so the child could have absorbed it. She's taught the child that sanskar. And mothers, because they cook for us, their sanskars have a very powerful influence on children. So that sanskar he was carrying from childhood. Even if you don't have to work on it, it's your sanskar, it's your nature. So when that is there, then fear to lose nahi aayega. Because what will you lose then? You will only lose a role. You will only lose a job. You will not lose yourself because contentment is already there. People don't understand contentment. They think if we are contented, then we'll stop, wanting to work or wanting to. Contentment is a state of being. Achievement is a state of doing. If you're already contented, the way you will do things will be completely different and you will not have a dependency on your doing to feel good because your feel good is already taken care of because you're contented.
I think that is the big shift, right? We always say everybody needs to make because you find that from within and then change your outer world rather than go around getting achievements and titles and then hope that will, because that is temporary. Like in your life, it's proven you've done that and then, you change roles and now you're onto some startup.
Yeah, startup. And I was telling you what I read yesterday, which I posted it on my Twitter also. I don't know who said it, but I remember the words. Okay, it said, if you do something and be successful, people will judge you. If you don't do anything, people will still judge you. If you do something and fail, people will still judge you. So that is going to happen, right? There used to be an old Hindi song saying, "Logon ka kaam hai kehna." Okay, so you do what you like. But like you said, do I do something to remind myself? No, I don't. I just, I think I know one thing which I do, uh, which is every morning I tell myself, I look into the mirror because I have to shave. So I shave, I'm looking in the mirror. A lot of people don't talk to themselves. I talk to myself. I think that's the only time, because I realized probably this wisdom, they say, only comes after a certain age. Okay. My whole life I've looked into the mirror, but I've not seen myself. Because you never look into your own eyes. You're going there, you're doing this, you're putting lipstick, whatever it is, you're combing your hair and walking. When was the last time you looked at your own eyes and talked to yourself? That is something I've started doing now. And I'm sharing, I'm talking to me only, because nobody can. I talk to myself, and that's where I probably do an introspection. In the sense, like if something went wrong, I said, could you have handled it better? Or do you think you should have said that to that person? Do you think that was hurtful to that person? Could you have said it in a better way, even if you wanted to say it? So then, hoping that next time I won't make the same mistake. But other than that, nothing. I don't do anything. I come from I studied boarding school, so I come from a thing where I pray before going to bed every night, because that's been inculcated in me. But after having my morning bath, I pray. That maybe it's 3 minutes to 4 minutes. I just stand. In my cupboard only, I've got little, from every religion, not necessarily from one religion. I've got a piece of Mary, there's one. So that 3-4 things, whoever gifted me or whatever it is, I keep it, And I just pray. And I pray and I only say one thing. I said, guide me, protect me, bless me. And bless my family, my friends. And that's all I will seek. Because that's another thing my mother taught me. She said, what will you ask? What will you ask? When you go to a temple or you go to a church or you go to a mosque, anywhere, end of the day, you're asking, right? It makes you selfish. Going to a temple in a way makes you selfish, because you're asking, Bhagwan, मेरे को ये दे दो, मेरे को पास करा दो, मैं ये करूंगा, वो करूंगा, मेरे को गाड़ी चाहिए, बंगला चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए. So she taught me these 3 words. In Konkani, she said, Anugraha. I still don't know the meaning, but she used to say, Deva Tugel Anugraha. So, God, let your Anugraha be on me, in Konkani, that plan. So that's what it was. So I used to say that, but later as I progressed, I coined my own word. It says, guide me, protect me, bless me. I think it can encapsulate everything in one go.
Any fourth word?
Huh?
Any fourth word to add in
It
that?
covers everything, no? You are also surrendering, say, guide me.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about. Not that I know all the answers of life. You guide me. Any other energies, you protect me. And blessings will empower me.
Yeah.
In fact, I do one step further. I tell him, if anything goes wrong, you're responsible because you're guiding me. I talk to him also.
The surrender comes
Very
from
good.
that. And
So both the things are getting done. Self-reflection, self-checking. This is what is spirituality. People say, I'm not spiritual. This is spirituality.
Yeah.
You're daily checking yourself. It's like a self-audit. What did I do wrong? Could I have done it differently? I could have spoken to this person differently. We do it in one. I could have thought about this person differently. Why was I judgmental about this person? The minute we talk to ourselves like that, we're already teaching ourselves to be a different way. But if I endorse it and say, they did that, so obviously I had to say that to them, then I'm reinforcing that next time also I will speak in this manner when somebody is not my way. So this self-checking, self-reflection is self-transformation. This will create self-transformation. And then along with that, surrender, that you guide me and you protect me. I am not. That's going to add to your humility.
So this is a interesting new way of a check-in on a daily basis, because one of the things we always talk about, like either you meditate, take a few minutes, reflect internally without, people do it differently. Someone does it with a mind. Great ways to do it when you're looking into the mirror, brushing your teeth, because it is truly a reflection of what you are. And because people say, when I try to sit quietly, the mind is at. I mean, I believe all world's problems will get sorted. There won't be a single problem if everybody can sit half an hour quietly in the world. The world will have no problems. But people can't sit with their mind, right? So this is a good way to at least start the
And
process.
think about it yourself, what I said. When was the last time you actually stood in a mirror and looked at yourself?
Yeah.
Where you looked into your eyes and spoke?
Yeah.
Very rare.
There's one more thing that's visible in the mirror, how you're feeling today.
Yeah.
Because normally when we look into the mirror, we're just looking physical. My face perfect, any pimple, any acne, hair gray. We're just checking so physical. But face is the index of the mind. Your ego shows on your face. Your purity shows on your face. Your stress shows on your face. Your fear shows on your face. Once you start looking at that, you will start being able to see that. So even if you're not seeing it in your mind, you can see it on your face. And then you can check what's not right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you've got to look beyond just the things you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go there, the mirror, with the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Like, I'm looking only for this, but how do you create a habit to look a little beyond? And many people nowadays are looking into the mirror. Yesterday, I mean, I've always seen, because my daughters and girls, they will suddenly, or at a dinner summit, they go and they'll go, 4 of them go to the restroom together. And then you understand that they take selfies in front of the mirror in the toilet. Okay. Yesterday, for the first time, I went to a male toilet and I saw one guy there, young, trying to take food. I said, "Oh, this is happening now with males, young. These are all younger because probably." But there must be something that about a mirror, and it's interesting we're talking about it, because mirror on the wall, mirror. There's been a discussion about mirror in childhood fables and stories forever.
They always
it's a very powerful.
They say you need people to show you the mirror.
Many ways, right?
Means the mirror tells you who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
mirror won't lie to you.
It won't lie to you. It will show it as it is. If you just take that same example on how a good practical way to to get some of this done, I think this calls for a movie that will probably for you to create. But we're coming back to your next role, right? You said now you're getting into a startup. Your curiosity is getting you to do new things.
Yeah, I mean, I should tell you why I quit my job. People don't quit jobs at their peak. I was doing extremely well. I had a corner office. My management loved me. The channel was doing very well, and so, a lot of people ask me, why did you quit? My mother at that time, like I said, she lived at 87 years old. She got a passport when she was 81 years old, and I made sure she went on one foreign trip after that. So she was in her last stages, right? And I used to tell, and some of the people who work with me will tell you, I used to take my company, entire organization for offsites. St. Petersburg, New York, here. I used to take them on offsites. And I used to tell them one thing. I said, the job of the CEO is only one thing. The CEO has only one job to do. To make sure that everybody who works in this organization wakes up in the morning and has that adrenaline rush to come to work. Okay? If I'm able to create that, काम आप लोग करोगे, क्रेडिट मेरे को मिलेगा, थोड़ा मैं क्रेडिट आपके साथ बांटूंगा. I used to actually joke about it. Until one fine morning, I realized, I was not getting the thing to go to work, right? And I was like, होता है कभी-कभी, you feel lazy, मौसम खराब है, ये है, you can. But this went on for quite some time. I did for 3 months, 4 months, I knew something was wrong. And not that there were no problems in the office, there were little problems, but not something that you'll want to walk away from. I mean, it was not that somebody had a gun on my head or something like that. So I also went and sought help. I went and met somebody, and I had 3 sessions with her, and I realized that it had nothing to do with my work. It had nothing to do with my personal life, because my mother had just passed away. So I assumed that I was going through grief. So it came across that was nothing to do with it. I was not enjoying what I was doing. So once I realized that, I said, I can stay here and continue, because as long as हिंदी में कहते हैं ना बल्ला जब तक चलता है तब तक ठाट है. So I said I will also I'm still scoring. So as long as I score, nobody's gonna. I can enjoy life. The other was I know I was not enjoying it. So I was waking up every morning, making an effort to go to work, because they say when beauty fades away, you can see it. When you become hollow from within, only you know it. So somewhere I was being hollow. Okay, I was doing everything perfect. I was going to office. I was approving all, because we had a SAP system, approving everything that needed to be approved. So for the outside world, they couldn't see anything. They were like, cool, right? But I knew I was not enjoying it. I wanted something different. But how do you quit? When you're on a fat salary, you got an organization at your command, you have adulation, you, like you said, oh, paraphernalia that comes with the post, he's today giving an award with Shah Rukh Khan, he's doing this and that. You have power, notional power, notional, let me put it, notional power. How do you do it? So I told my wife, I said, let's go on a holiday and let's go see our children and we'll come back. I thought I needed a break. Yeah. So the Dubai Duty Free Lounge, in the airport lounge, not duty free, airport lounge, I told my Emirates lounge, I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to quit my job. She didn't take me seriously. So when we went to the US, and one daughter was studying in Boston, and we were in New York, and she came visiting her sister so that we are all together. I told again, I think I'm planning to quit my job. My wife asked me, are you telling me or are you asking me? Because all your life you've done what you want. Do what you want. But it's not easy giving up the job. Not the money, not the salary, nothing. You need buy-in from your immediate family, nobody else. Because there's also a social impact. What does your father do? He's Chief Operating Officer of Viacom. He's CEO Colors. What does he do? My father is running some, not that it's derogatory, it's just that it's a kind of a thing. So I told my daughters, I said, Samira, Atiya, that's their name. I said, I think I'm going to quit. They said, Dad, you keep giving gyan on your Twitter, follow your heart, ye karo, wo karo. Now when it comes to you, do what you want. Don't worry about us. You've given us a great education. We are fine. I came back and I resigned. And one thing which you said is so true. You said, let go. In my mind, one of the things that played at that mind, and when you said it now, it just came back to me. I said, I let my mother go. What is a job? What is a position? Nothing.
Once you make it a habit, right, then letting go and surrender becomes a way of
again, because that contentment was there.
Yeah.
That is very important. This is something everybody needs to learn today, that contentment is your strength on this journey. Here he has chosen to leave. Today, some of us are losing our job. We can lose a job, but we should not lose ourselves. So take care to be contented. And then work, of course. You don't have to give up your achievements, but that is transient. It's transient. It's not you. That difference we have to create. We make that me. And so if something goes up and down, there is like, I go up and down.
No, because we are also always projecting to be happy. Like what you said, like you felt hollow from within, but it did not reflect on the outside. Today, most people, whether it's in social or where, you're projecting to be happy, whereas, you are surrounded. So when you see what the person to the world is this, but when you meet the person, they're completely, so this duality also, people are living those lives.
Because they're living for others. They're not living for themselves.
When you're living that role, you also have people behaving with you a certain way, and you're going to lose all that the day you give up your role, but to still have the strength to give it up. This is contentment. And this is that you have that self-confidence also. Not confidence in the doing, confidence in the being. We all have self-confidence in the doing, but the word is not confidence. It is self-confidence. So confidence in the self, that I am not dependent on the role. I'm not dependent on what people see me through that image of that role. And I'm not dependent on what people will believe or feel about me when I give up that role. This is power.
And somewhere there you anyway give up that self, that thing also, right? And that's when you say you
That's
just
it.
let go.
Yeah.
And things just around you, you
And
just
again,
have
he
to.
must have seen people change.
Yeah.
People will
And
change.
he himself
Again.
changed. So now I still go back to now your curiosity is starting a new
Yeah.
startup.
So what happened was, when you quit, the first 4 5 months, I should also admit, I came from certain privilege.
Huh.
I had roof on the head, food on the table,
Yes.
and my
Therefore,
two
you could
children were
choose to do it.
educated.
Correct.
I had no EMIs to pay.
Yeah.
So when I came out, the first thought in my head was low hanging fruit. 25 साल मैंने entertainment किया है, TV किया है, वही करूंगा. So I took up a huge office in Lakshmi Industrial Estate, 20 feet ceiling, and I said I will raise some capital, because it wouldn't have been very difficult for me to raise capital. Because with my pedigree, people would have given money if I'm doing the same job.
Correct.
If I say I'm building real estate, nobody will give me money. And the whole thing was, I'll get into content, and I understand sales, I understand content, I understand the media. And I launched. I was on the verge of raising capital, and I had two people who had almost committed also. And then the pandemic struck. Tuck. In hindsight, I'm so happy it happened, not because it put a lot of us in trouble and things like that. In my particular case, I think it happened. Suppose I had taken the money and then the pandemic had struck, I would have been in trouble. So I was able to give away the office in 6-8 months. And that's when I didn't know what to do. Because in pandemic, what can you do?
Yeah.
And I said, Raj, you quit your job because you're not happy. If you ask me one word, why were you I quit because I was not happy. And then I started speaking to CXOs. You will be shocked how many people are unhappy in their jobs. They are there because they don't have a choice. बच्चों का पढ़ाई करना है, किसी का EMI है, कहीं का ये है. Otherwise, they will want to do what I did. They said, yeah, you need a lot of courage to do what you did. Right? So that's when I said, why don't I start something in happiness? And that's when I started working, saying that happiness can also become a business. And that's how I started working. I met some neuroscientists. I met some psychologists, and behavioral psychologists and things like that. And then I put a framework together. It helped because my daughter was doing a PhD in Boston. So I was able to connect to some professors and things like that. We put a whole thing in place. Then I said, let me gamify it. So, because it's a new generation. So it's 52 cards, deck, instead of filling questions and things like that. So all that we did. Not able to, nobody's interested. It sounded very nice. When I launched, you can go back and see, happiness was there as a word, but nobody used it. Now you get happiness buzzers also. Okay. So, but that I never gave up. I said, this is something I want to do. If I can bring 1% positive change, I think I would have achieved something. So it was not the money anymore. Okay. Because I can, my food and things would have been taken care of, right? It was a purpose. I wanted to do something which would make me happy, right? Because suddenly you're working with 5 people. But then I also realized when things went on for long, you also feel insecure because you're dipping into all your savings, right? And then I started doing consulting work because consulting would bring me money. So consulting would bring me money and I would put it in my happiness business. Bring me money, put it in my happiness business. But I never gave up. And as we evolved, we started with something, we ended up with something. Today we also certify companies as happiest places to work. We are the biggest competitors to great places to work, right? So that is one, it's happened as a business. It happened by default. That was never the intention when we started the business, but it's worked. And then I realized I have so much time and then we launched recently a show, which is India's Bharat Ka Apna Startup Munch, which is Idea Buzz. It is India's version of Shark Tank, okay, where people can come. You don't have to have a startup. You can just come with an idea and you can get funded. And it's worked very well. And if you watch the show, you will realize the entire show is on positivity. Sister Shivani, I'm going to send you links, private links, so that you can watch 2-3 episodes. You will realize what I'm saying. And the brief to the titans, we call them, they were not sharks, they were titans, was only one thing. अगर आप उनको पैसे भी ना दो ना, कोई बात नहीं. उनको उनका हौसला बढ़ाओ, उनको उम्मीद दो, उनको give them guidance, give them mentorship. That was the one-line brief to the titans. You watch the show, when I'm talking to you, my head is coming up. You will see that positivity in the show. And that's what we were doing. We said, हमको drama नहीं चाहिए, हमको TRP नहीं चाहिए, because this show is being launched with a purpose. We genuinely want to help people in tier 2, tier 3 markets who don't have access to capital, who don't know how to go about things. And that's why we said, you can come and pitch in any language of your choice. So it was not that people came and spoke in English or Hindi. You have people speaking Telugu, in Marathi. I must send you 2-3 episodes. Please watch it.
No, the Bharat story unlocking in terms of this is, and you know what we were talking earlier, this overcoming fear, taking risks, and today when you go out there and you talk to people and you say, are you a job seeker or a job giver? You find many hands who saying, I want to be one who want to become. So that momentum in India, ability for India to solve so many problems in India and for the world is a very real issue. And young people today, this is a great, kind of a service. And I think it's a huge encouragement for people to be able to think through life.
Last week I did a podcast and the guy asked me, no drama, no thing, TRP नहीं आएगी, तो आपका धंधा कैसे चलेगा? I said, why do you think people not support a good cause?
Correct.
Why do you think that? Why are you assuming कि सिर्फ रेटिंग के पीछे लोग भागते हैं? अगर आपके शो में सच्चाई है, आपके शो में पॉजिटिविटी है, आपके शो में it is real, there will be somebody who will come and back you. But you have to have that conviction. Luckily for me, the founders who have put the money, I have not put the money, they said, we believe it, but it's okay. We are willing to take that risk. That conviction has translated into the show.
Correct. Yeah, and then I think these reality shows and all resonate well with younger generations today because, nobody wants a packaged thing of what life can be great. Because when you're dealing, you relate, you get inspired by young people, who are...
You should watch this. I will not name the person because unfair to name somebody without his permission. Yeah. But one of India's top, when I say top person in this field, we see, sent me a message that night. And I've not been in touch with him for ages. Saying, Raj, watch the show. Fab, you got a winner on hand. He said, when I watched one of the boys' father is a coolie who does cylinders, supplies cylinder. He said, when I saw that the cylinder man, he called him the cylinder man. He said, I had tears in my eyes. For me, that is enough. For me, that is more than any $1 million sponsorship because that is what we want to do. We want to relate to the person in a small town and give him that hope.
The stage.
कि मैं भी बन सकता हूँ.
Yeah. And the guy who had the tear in the eye will also think differently. He might, as a VC, have many check boxes, but, maybe as an angel or something, help write that check. Right? And we need angels.
No.
Therefore, it's called angels.
You'll be surprised. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. 1 week later, you send me a message. Yeah. He said, I've got an idea for you. I said, what? He said, you should also allow outside people who have not been sitting on the thing to invest in those companies. I said, मैं दिल्ली आ रहा हूँ, आपसे मिलता हूँ, साथ में बैठ के बनाते हैं.
But it is true.
Right.
Yeah, because
but look at the intent of giving happiness. The intent of giving happiness has radiated in such a different way to so many people.
No, I think, and that's why I say, curating something from a media standpoint can impact. Very few things can touch so many people, and you don't know who you're touching. The beauty is, like this VC, maybe someone else, at least this guy reached out to you. There might be so many others. And that's the beauty about, this.
One thing which Sister Shivani said, it resonated with me again so much. Intent. I tell my people, things can go wrong. No? I mean, as long as your intent was right. It's okay. You took the decision with a good intent. I mean, nahi hua. Intent is a very big thing.
Yeah. No, I think in one can capability and this, everything.
Yeah.
But intent is what? It drives Shristi.
Intent was of a giver.
Yeah.
Mostly in business, our intent is what will I get?
Hmm.
Business is meant to be done to get,
Yeah.
but the intent should be to be a giver, that I can give something to someone. If you keep the intent as a giver, you've already gone on a higher vibration.
Yeah.
But if you've taken only, okay, what I get out of this business, then you're just talking only about how much
Yeah.
you'll get, but your karma level doesn't go higher because you didn't create the intent of giving to the world.
No, and it's interesting because your other piece that you said, you measure happiness index or you help companies see how happy. The fact that a company wants to rate there, it needs to make sure that people are happy. So, you are driving organizations to see how to keep their employees happy. And it becomes a, multiplier effect. I think important for us to think of every initiative or where one spends the time, whether it has the ability to trigger, such a large, but it's interesting, because happiness is like someone says, it's within, it is there, and every other happiness you seek is temporary. At a corporate organization level, and it might be good for our viewers, how do you measure a happy company?
So what we do is we have a set of 52 questions.
Mm-hmm.
They are all introspective in nature, and every question is underpinned by neuroscience. Okay. So for example, I will ask, in a situation like this, how would you have behaved with Sister Shivani? Okay. Normally what happens? People ask, how is your boss? How is your this? How is your that? We don't. Everything is introspective. So when I've asked you this question, I've done two things. See, people may lie also, that you can't help. That's anything you do, that is the thing. But I've seeded a thought in your head. There are different ways of dealing with the same problem. Now, what you choose to write is a different thing, right? That is good enough for me because I've seeded it. And that is what I call seeding happiness. If you go anywhere in the world, I said this without any research. And then, now thanks to ChatGPT and this one and that one, I said, yeah, ye to mera idea hai, I said it just like that because I used to travel and I travel a lot. I've traveled a lot. If you take between 22nd of December to 4th of Jan, that period, anywhere in the world you go, including in our own country, which is a predominantly Hindu country, the happiness quotient is the highest. Okay. Now, why is that happened? Because over such years, happiness has been seeded, whether it is Santa Claus, whether it is gifting, this one, that one. It's like our Diwali, but Diwali is more India. This is global. So happiness has been seeded. So over a period of time, you'll feel magic in the air. For me, the way of getting and seeing an organization happy, and I can say that with conviction, at least in colors, as long as I was there, if you walked into the floor, you would see it, you would feel it. You should feel it. रिपोर्ट्स में कुछ नहीं है, ये सब 25 तरह के रिपोर्ट्स निकाल सकते हैं. आप तो आजकल रिपोर्ट्स खरीद भी सकते हैं. But when you walk into an office, you should feel the energy. If you feel the energy, it's like temple. You walk into a temple, you feel the energy, right? You should feel the energy. You know immediately this is a happy place.
Yeah.
Vibration.
Comes down to that.
You can lie in that tick box but the vibrations you can never hide and you can never create also. It's there. It's there. There was once at the headquarters, Mount Abu, there was some issue with, this charity because we are an NGO. So some charity commissioner had come to check. So he was walking around the campus. He said, but I've heard this, I've heard this, I've heard this. I said, absolutely. We can fake everything for you right now because we knew you were coming. The only thing we can't fake is the vibration. So feel it and decide because that couldn't have been created before you were coming. So that's
and it is happy people coming together that will create this shift and change. And
magic happens.
And magic happens.
Magic happens.
Yeah. And I think that's the big
simple thing. Na, socho, I don't know whether you've experienced this. Boss का मूड कैसा है? मूड अच्छा है तो छुट्टी देगा. पगार मांगने का, you can go and ask for higher salary. Why do they ask this? Because when a person is happy, he is also magnanimous.
Compassion.
I think
in the doctor's oath, no, with the WHO, they changed it now, saying first it was all about you have to take care of others because you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Now it is doctor, first practice self-care. Lack of that leads to compassion fatigue.
no.
So self-care means you're happy.
Of course. Yeah.
Then only you will be able to be a giver
Yeah.
of compassion.
Very true.
You're stressed, you're in pain, you can treat, but you cannot be
Yeah.
compassionate.
Until I earn, how will I give?
And give. I can't.
And love and peace are the two factors that whatever we might say the world needs comes from that. It's the same source. I think this is the
energy.
the three kind of, things that, define a good life or, a good way for an individual to be able to live. No, I think we can keep going on this conversation.
I'm enjoying it.
No, it's so enjoyable.
Podcast or no podcast, I want to come one day and sit on and just chat.
We'll do
Just
that.
chat.
Yeah. But, we have one last section,
please.
Raj, that we call the mindful minute, get a little bit into your mind, and just,
I'm
some
scared.
pointed question. No, it's nothing. Because there's one thing that has come, and maybe the first question I'll start, and maybe you can elaborate a little more than a mind. You are very, you mentioned dogs in the beginning of thing, and I know you do a lot. So it's a very funny question. Dogs or humans, who cheer you the most?
Dogs.
Why?
Reality. Because human beings are the most unpredictable species on this earth. With a dog, you know the dog, how it will behave. And this is reality. And it's unconditional love. They have no expectation from you. They just want you to love them back. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And and sad for me to say that. But look at human beings. Look at what we are doing to this world. Look at the destruction that's happening in the name of development. You are destroying forests, you're actually committing suicide. Okay, look at what is happening in Delhi today. It's a gas chamber. It is man-made, right? I think if human beings sit back and reflect, again, what is development? Having billions of dollars in your bank account, which 10 generations, which you will never see? For what? Right? If human beings when I say human beings, all of us, reflect and look at what the universe was created for. Each one had their own space. I'm not saying we shouldn't have development. I'm not saying we shouldn't evolve. We should. But everything has to be done within a certain thing. I think that's where we are wrong. And like I said, I know exactly how an animal will behave. Until I harm it, it will never harm me back. But I cannot say the same about a human being.
Perfect. What's your mantra, your own mantra, to be on top of the world? How do you get yourself on top of the world all the time?
Don't worry, be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot change what's going to happen. The truth is you and I don't know what's going to happen on my way back home. I have no clue, right? So don't worry about the future. Future will take care of itself. The way the world has been evolved, and you will have more gyan on this, things move on. It's a one-way street. You don't go back. It's a one-way street. So it will keep on evolving. Sometimes you'll get a tar road, highway. Sometimes you'll get a unbeaten path. You walk through it. But the journey has to be completed, because nobody can stop and say, I will not complete the journey, because that's the ultimate destination.
Media punter or media guru?
पंटर गुरु बनने में अभी गुरु लोग हैं गुरु बनना भी हम गुरु का एक I don't want to bring down the guru's stature by saying I want to be a guru.
So who's a media guru that you look up to?
I have no media gurus. Success doesn't make you a guru. There are 20 reasons why people become successful. Luck plays a very big role. People don't give any credit for lady luck. Let me tell you something. It's very easy to retrospect success.
Right.
I often use this thing. Sachin Tendulkar ki maa can take a picture of Sachin Tendulkar holding a bat when he was 5 years old and say, मुझे पता था मेरा बेटा क्रिकेटर बनने वाला है. नहीं पता था, किसी को पता नहीं, कल क्या होने वाला है किसी को पता नहीं है. So my thing is, success doesn't mean, this is society made thing. You measure somebody by success. by how much money he's made, how big building he has, but that's nothing. For me, I measure it by saying, if you're a great human being and I love you, that is good enough for me. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's how it should be. And then, and I think the world will change because the new generation looks at life a little differently than we did.
So what's something that success, never gave you, but you thought it would?
I never chased success. I'll be lying if I said I don't like good things in life. I'll be lying if I said I don't like the adulation. I like it. I enjoy it. I like the name. I like the fame. I like the, but having said that, I've never chased it. I just want to make sure when I wake up every day, first of all, be grateful that I'm alive, I'm kicking, I've got food on the table, I've got some good friends. I just want to be happy. If you ask me what is my measurement of success, is if I'm happy. See, if you're successful, there's no guarantee you're happy. But if you're happy, you are successful.
And happy 24/7.
No, see, I think people have a very wrong notion of happiness. People think happiness means it's like that monkey yuki and all the time dancing, bumping. No, you will go through your emotions. There are moments when I'm angry. There are moments when I'm upset. There are moments when I'm sad. But at every stage, I come back to the same position. I go out, I come back. I go out, I come back. But as a person, I try to remain happy. But sometimes I'm not. But that is reality.
I think that's the beauty. You have to have the gateways to bring you back.
As long as
then keep doing that.
And like Sister Shivani said, she said intent. My intent is I just want to be happy. I say, God, somebody told me today, you can live 120 years or something, I said, I don't want to. I just want to be happy. And I just want to go without suffering, without being in a hospital bed, without being on a ventilator. I just want to go peacefully. Because that's the ultimate destination. You can't stop it.
No, but if there are some ideas that you still want to put out, what's that one media idea that you have wanted to but still not been able to put out? Anything brewing in your head?
No.
Not yet.
No.
It will flow.
Like this idea was not in my horizon, but it happened.
One word, how you would describe yourself?
Cheerful.
Cheerful, Raj.
Cheerful.
And we'll end with requesting Sister Shivani.
Yes, I would like to know what you have one word.
One word to describe Raj.
Contented and fearless.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask another question. I was going to say...
You can also give absolutely
one word to describe yourself.
Myself, also fearless.
Fearless.
I think that's the one quality that most we are... And somewhere I think we are trained to live in fear from every action. Right? From school, from home, from parents to everything.
See, I think that, your courage and conviction comes from two things. First is willing to let go. The moment you're willing to let go, क्या ले जाओगे मेरा? सोच तो कोई नहीं ले जा सकता है ना, वो तो मेरे पास ही रहेगा.
And to let go, you need trust.
Yes.
You need to build trust.
Yes. Surrender.
Have to surrender.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Raj.
Thank you so much.
Such a wonderful conversation.
This is the most amazing podcast I've done. I've sat through 1,000 podcasts and 1,000 interviews. This has been so amazing. Not just for the topic, but sheer energy that I felt just sitting here and talking.
And let me tell you, you energized us as well. And hopefully this show will energize.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You too can start or enhance your mindfulness journey using the ThinkRight app on iOS and Android store. It's got a huge number of daily affirmations, daily journeys, daily meditations that will enable us to hold your hand as you move in this transformative journey of life.